Yeah. Yeah. Hey. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Reaction Time with Dave. I got a good episode for you guys today. We're doing cell phones. Well, phones in general. The good, the bad, the ugly. We're going to dive into it. We're going to take a look from not the technical aspect of cell phones, but a look from you as a human being, your interaction, mental health, and all the things of that sort. So, we're gonna dive into that topic today. I got it packed for you guys. I got it packed. Oh, you see Elon? He already says go. Okay, Elon, I got you, boy. I got you. I got platinum cookies. I got apple fritter. We're gonna get into it, baby. Dang, Elon always telling me smoke. All the Reaction Time with Dave episodes are streaming on WEEDGANG.us. You can get to all the merch, all the music, and all the things we have to share with you there. WEEDGANG Racing and everything of the sort. So what we're talking about, once again, phones. The good, the bad, the ugly. Where we've come from, how we got here, what it looks like. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to dive into today's topic. So we got to start at the beginning. If we're talking about phones, we got to start at phone. What is a phone? Now let's talk about phones. It didn't start as cell phones. It started as what we call a landline. Landline, noun. You say it like landline, or less commonly landline. Definition of landline: a line of transportation or communication on land, especially a telephone line that transmits signals from one station to another directly along a wire without the use of radio waves. Often used before other noun, phone or network. So a landline phone, a landline network. That's the wires you see, your old phone wires going back and forth. So now that we understand what landlines are, we know we're past that. So let's go to what is a mobile phone. What does mobile phone mean? A mobile phone is a wireless handheld device that allows users to make and receive calls. While the earliest generation of mobile phones could only make and receive calls, today's mobile phones do a lot more, accommodating web browsers, games, cameras, video players, and navigation systems. I'm pretty sure we all have cell phones. Most of us do. I have an iPhone and I have Android. It says also, while mobile phones used to be mainly known as cell phones or cellular phones, today's mobile phones are more commonly called smartphones. So we went from landline to cell phones to smartphones because of all the extra voice and data services that they offer. Okay, they're going to explain the mobile phone. This is Techopedia. We go to them for sources. The first mobile phones, as mentioned, were only used to make and receive calls. They were so bulky it was impossible to carry them in a pocket. These phones used primitive RFID and wireless systems to carry signals from an cabled PSTN endpoint. Now, know the jargon's always heavy for you guys. It always is at the beginning. So then now we go later. Mobile phones belonging to the Global System for Mobile Communications, GSM network, which T-Mobile uses, and things like that, became capable of sending and receiving text messages. As these devices evolved, they became smaller and more features were added, such as multimedia messaging, which allow users to send and receive images. Now, we have CDMA, which is Code Division Multiple Access, and GSM. CDMA used to be the Verizons and the Sprint's no SIM cards, and T-Mobile's and the AT&T with the SIM cards is GSM. So we're going to go here and we're going to go to the evolution of cell phones. It's going to go a little fast, but we'll get it. We're on the evolution of phones. This is by Watch Media. So we're going to go in here. And I'm going to keep choking on this. Bloop. 1876, liquid transmitter. Alexander Graham Bell's first phone. 1880, the Gower Bell. First used in Europe and surrounding countries. 1905, Strauger. First phone with the ability to dial out rather than using an operator. 25, the Frankfurt Bauhaus. 1970, AT&T picture phone. 1982, Nokia. This when Nokia hit the market. 1983, the Motorola Dynatac. See that in a lot of TV shows, old movies. Nokia 1011. First mobile phone that could be used anywhere in the world. Now, Simon 94, world's first smartphone. 1996, looks like a two-way almost with an antenna. You got a StarTAC, that's 96. That's the first clamshell. I remember seeing that. That's known as the first flip phone. 8110, the first slider. 97, the Simon's S10. You got to remember the Blackberries. Everybody remembers a Blackberry. That used to be the status quo symbol. The Nokia 7110, that's 99. 2000, Sharp got into the phone business. 500, a Nokia 3310, most iconic Nokia model of all time, over 125 million. So the newer Blackberries, my brother had one of these. He loved it. And then we got the Razr. Sony Ericsson, the Walkman phone, you could listen to music. Famous Walkman brand. We got the N95, that was the sliding Nokia, had that phone. And then we got, of course, Apple iPhone 2007, 500. The Dream G1, that's when the slider two-way style phone mixed from HTC. We got the iPhone 3G in 2008. BlackBerry Curve, who doesn't remember that? That was $100 T-Mobile. They were giving those things away. Galaxy S, apps come to market. Note N700, now we got the Note series. iPhone 5, remember we had the 5S after that. 2012, the S3, Samsung. 2013, we got the 5C, the iPhone. And then you got the 5S. My mom had one of those up until last year. Remember the Lumia? That was the first true camera picture phone. iPhone 6 Plus, that's the first phablet phone tablet. 2015, S6 Edge curved screen. 2015, Nexus S, that was a Nexus 6P. 2016, the Google Pixel. We all know about the Pixel, Google's flagship phone. S8 Plus in 2017. Those curved screens, the bezels, I've never truly liked them. 2017, the iPhone 10 came out with the first full screen display. 2018, OnePlus 6T. That phone is a beast. The first mainstream foldable smartphone. 2019, the Fold. UI P30 Pro, great phone. You got the OnePlus 7T. We're getting there. And then you got the Galaxy Note 10 Plus in 2019. iPhone 11 Pro. We are there. That's what I'm saying. That's what I know.
I've been having a very
That's
strange
that's
problem.
what we
I've
have
been
to do.
collecting
We have to have a history. We have to have a beginning. We have to have an ending. Now, we've changed drastically. The cell phones have changed drastically. So what are we going to do about it? Let's see. This is Tech Insider, History of Cell Phones.
Before cell phones, there were car phones.
Car
Good
phones.
morning, Mr. McCardle. How did the market open?
In fact, the original car phone weighed about 80 pounds.
Whoa, that's
In
heavy.
1947, an engineer at Bell Labs envisioned a futuristic phone network for their car phones. A call would bounce uninterrupted between cells of coverage. At the time, the technology and the infrastructure for this did not exist, but it soon would. The car phones quickly became popular despite their limitations. Only a limited number of people could use the service at a time, which meant 5 to 10 year waiting lists began to form, and existing customers could sometimes wait up to 30 minutes to place a call. But then, in 1973, Motorola engineer Martin Cooper showed what the future would look like, the Dynatac 8000X. Based on Bell's cell network concept, it was the
Elon
world's
saying hit a
first
dabby.
handheld cell phone. 10 years and a $100 million investment later, Motorola finally released the phone to the
It's a
public.
lot of money, 100
I'd
million.
order a large pizza with mushrooms
Saved
and
by the belt.
the hottest peppers you can find.
The decade-long delay was caused by the need to build the cellular infrastructure the phone required to
I got you,
operate.
Elon. I'll take another
The
one.
phone took 10 hours to charge, lasted 35 minutes, and cost $3,995,
10 hours?
which would
Yeah,
be
right.
about $10,000 today.
There are only a few thousand cellular phones in use right now, but that number is expected to grow considerably within the next few years during the cellular revolution.
Cellular revolution. That really happened. I lived through it. Nokia changing faceplates. Remember that? Who remembers that?
Ahead of its time, the IBM Simon could be considered the world's first smartphone, the world's first touchscreen phone, and the first phone to have software apps. It cost around $1,099 new, which would be around $1,800 today.
Inflation. StarTAC. Remember, so we saw that in the last video. We were going fast. BlackBerry. First BlackBerry phone. T-Mobile Sidekick. Who? Man, I had a sidekick. Man, if you had a sidekick, you was cool. Nokia. That's iconic. Razr V3 had that phone. Beautiful.
Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone. But what we're going to do is get rid of all these buttons and just make a giant screen. A giant screen.
Just 1 month after one of the most popular BlackBerry devices was released, the original iPhone hit shelves nationwide. It would go on to sell more than 6 million units, with new models introduced every year.
Right.
The iPhone would forever change mobile phones, the computer industry, and technology forever.
HTC Dream, first runner on Android. Samsung's first Galaxy. Google Pixel, flagship Google phone, first phone designed completely by
Today's
Google.
cell phones are a far cry from the $10,000 Dynatac phone of 1983.
True.
And for many people, the phone feature has become one of the least used features.
Right.
But in the future, phones could make another drastic change. The World Economic Forum thinks the first implantable phones will become commercially available by 2024.
Never. 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 Now, this is what we're saying. The advantages and disadvantages of mobile phones. So let's go. Benefits of cell phones. Because this is the good. There's got to be something good. Now, we're seeing there's systems of communication. We can reach people across the sea. There's video. There's internet. There's video calling. You can now see someone you couldn't see unless you got on a plane and flew there. The advancements of technology are truly astounding, and I think we take a lot of it for granted. Mobile phones, or cell phones often, they as called in the U.S., have radically altered the way people work, socialize, organize, and entertain themselves. From the beginning as bulky car phones in the 1980s, mobile phones went on to become multimedia communication devices with a level of computing power seen it in desktops only a short number of years before. We've got phones with A16 chips and Qualcomm 88, these chips are so powerful. They basically are computers, which the M1 chip is now in the Apple computer, the Mac Mini, which I have. So we're saying the mobile phone benefits. Communication, like I was saying, we can reach people far. This is small and convenient, fits in your pocket. Photos and video, high quality cameras. Texting, obviously, we know we got emojis. Everything, fashion and self-expression. There's filters. You can take pictures of yourself. There's selfie cams. Entertainment, watching Netflix, reading, doing anything you do. Facebook, notes and reminders. An alarm clock, reminders. It's like having a second wife. Video in real time. You have calendars and organization. Where would I be without my calendar? I have one on the wall, but one on my phone. Maps, navigation, and travel. Easy to look up somewhere to eat when you're out. Online banking and finance. Well, we all know we all check our mobile banking. Lock that card so that none of those auto draw comes out of your Cash App. Address book and contacts, you don't have to remember numbers. Do you guys even remember people's cell phone numbers anymore? You don't even have to remember numbers anymore. They're just automatically saved in your phone. Remote working, you can work from home on your phone. Home on your phone. Working. Emergencies, they're on. You have a phone on your person, they can track you. They can find you. They can ping your location. Watches and alarm clocks. Good for training, good for waking up on time, which a lot of you don't do. Calculator. Some people don't know how to do math anymore. So if you don't know how to do math anymore, you got a calculator. Flashlight. Obviously, use one of the most useful apps ever invented. Torch, same thing. News, sports, and live events. You get the breaking news on your phone the moment it's happening, and you can see what's going on. Crime prevention and evidence gathering. That's a 50-50 one right there. I mean, it also could be tracking. There's a flip side to that. We'll get it. But crime prevention and evidence gathering. Learning and research. We have so many resources at our disposal. You could really learn so much. We have everything. So we have communication. Like, I'm not going to dive into every single one of these. We're on turbofuture.com, and you can get to all the stuff. I make sure that the URL is displayed in the top here so you can get back to everything. But communication, small and convenient, fits in your pocket or bag. I'm going to gloss over these. Photos and video. Most people don't even own a camera because they have phone cameras that are so good. Texting. You can text people. Short messaging. Somebody can tell you what's going on very quickly. Self-expression, choosing a model phone to carry. You can choose the color. You can choose, you can put cases on them. Entertainment, mobile phone. Look, they got Pokemon Go is pictured here. That ran the world for a while. Notes and reminders. Video in real time. Like I said, again, calendars and organizations. See something on there. And we know maps, navigation, and travel. So, we're going to go over these. Carrying a cell phone offers you another personal layer of safety, and we are on Vitana right now. 19 disadvantages and advantages of cell phones. A lot of these are the same. They provide fast access to the internet. The portability of the modern cell phone is undeniable. Basically, the ones we said. It teaches children how to be responsible. You don't want to lose your cell phone. They become powerful learning tools. It's a necessary communication tool. And they store videos and photos, like I said, and they entertainment options. So let's talk about the bad now. We talked about the good, how good it is. That's great. Now, what about the bad on these things? They're always in your face. They're always in your hand. You're always looking at them. People are always driving and texting. So let's talk about the bad. Let's list the disadvantages. Cell phones cause many vehicular accidents every year. Take any point in the day in the United States, you'll find over 660,000 drivers attempting to use their cell phone while driving. Even with strict laws about hands-free use, including Washington State's driving under the influence of electronic statutes. The distraction of a cell phone creates alarming dangers on the roads. More than 1.6 million vehicular crashes occur because of cell phones. 94% of teen drivers recognize a danger in using a cell phone while driving, but 1/3 of them still do it anyway. 1 in 5 accidents involving a teen and a fatality include a cell phone. Increased data access can lead to student cheating. Then there's a cost to consider when purchasing new cell phones. So cell phones don't cost $100 anymore. They cost $2,000 and $1,000 for a good phone that you're actually going to use. Like, let's be real. You can buy a $30 phone. You're not going to be happy. You're not going to get the features you want unless you're just cool with a flip phone. I mean, some people live like that. I couldn't. Cell phones promote higher levels of e-waste in our trash and recycling system. A lot of people do not recycle their phones or their electronics responsibly. Batteries on cell phones overheat and potentially explode. We know this to be true with a couple of the Galaxy Note series. Cell phones create distraction points for children and adults. Yes, you pay more attention to the phone than you do your children. It's just what's going on. Is how phones have evolved. Media is always in your face. Screens are always in your face, and that's how we cope with things now. It increases the risk of now cyberbullying. It used to be normal bullying, but now there's cyberbullying. They're bullying you on the internet. They bully you in school, and then they bully you at home. All day. It's 24/7. 24/7. Cell phones can become addictive to people of all ages. Yes, they release dopamine into your brain and causes things to it's like a cycle, a loop. They got you caught in the loop of getting excited, then you want to get that excitement again. It's like doing drugs. Sexual exploitation is a real threat with cell phones. It is easier for okay, outside the assumption that everyone who uses a cell phone will access pornography, there are some real threats about sexual exploitation to consider. I'm high, yo. Although only 11% of teens admit to sending sexting images to strangers, 80% of who have done so were under the age of 18. 57% of teens say they were asked to send an image, while 12% of girls say they feel pressured to do so. 2 out of every 5 teens say they've received sexually suggestive messages meant for someone else. The support system at home matters. It does. It does. So let's look at how phones are changing us, because we're talking about the bad. And you're saying, oh, Dave, I don't do that. Oh, Dave, I don't look at my phone. Okay. So then let's just see how it changes.
Of the 7 billion people on Earth, roughly 6 billion own a cell phone, which is pretty shocking given that only 4.5 billion have access to a working toilet. So how are these popular gadgets changing your body and brain? If you're looking down at your phone right now, your spine angle is equivalent to that of an 8-year-old child sitting on your neck, which is fairly significant considering people spend an average of 4.7 hours a day looking at their phone.
Wow.
This, combined with the length of time spent in front of computers, has led to an increase in the prevalence of myopia or nearsightedness in North America. In the 1970s, about 1/4 of the population had myopia, where today nearly half do. And in some parts of Asia, 80 to 90% of the population is now nearsighted. And it can be hard to put your phone down. Take, for example, the game Candy Crush. As you play the game, you achieve small goals, causing your brain to be rewarded with little bursts of dopamine. And eventually you're rewarded in the game with new content. This novelty also gives little bursts of dopamine and together create what is known as a compulsion loop, which just happens to be the same loop responsible for the behaviors associated with nicotine or cocaine. Our brains are hardwired to make us novelty seeking, and this is why apps on our phones are designed to constantly provide us with new content, making it hard to put down. As a result, 92% of young people aged 18 to 29 report using their smartphone as a tool to avoid boredom, as opposed to other activities like reading a book or engaging with people around them. This has created a new term, nomophobia, the fear or anxiety of being without your phone. We also see a change in brain patterns. Alpha rhythms are commonly associated with wakeful relaxation, like when your mind wanders off, whereas gamma waves are associated with conscious attentiveness. And experiments have shown that when a cell phone is transmitting, say during a phone call, the power of these alpha waves is significantly boosted, meaning phone transmissions can literally change the way your brain functions. Your smartphone can also disrupt your sleep. The screen emits a blue light which has been shown to alter our circadian rhythms, diminishing the time spent in deep sleep, which is linked to the development of diabetes, cancer, and obesity. Studies have shown that people who read on their smartphone at night have a harder time falling asleep and produce less melatonin, a hormone responsible for the regulation of sleep-wake cycles. Harvard Medical School advises the last 2 to 3 hours before bed be technology-free, so pick up a book before bed instead. Of course, smartphones also completely change our ability to access information, most notably in poor and minority populations. 7% of Americans are entirely dependent on smartphones for their access to the internet. A 2014 study found that the majority of smartphone owners use their phone for online banking, to look up medical information, and searching for jobs. So while phones are in no way exclusively bad and have been part of a positive change in the world, there's no denying
his
that
drawing
they are
skills pretty
changes.
alright.
But many successful people have now decided to take smartphone vacations in order to increase productivity. In our new ASAP Thought video, we break down the top 6 reasons you should take a smartphone vacation and how it could benefit your life right now. And
subscribe. ASAP Science. He's pretty good. All these resources are available to you. I leave the URL up here in the top. So, we're talking about how it's changing us. Now let's see, why is it bad for us? This is Tech Insider.
Hi, my name is Dr. Rangan Chatterjee. I'm a medical doctor. I'm BBC One's Doctor in the House and I'm author of a new book called The 4-Pillar Plan. I think that stress is a huge problem these days, and one of the biggest sources are our smartphones. That's why I'm a big fan of something called a screen-free Sabbath, this whole concept that we may have one whole day a week, if possible, where we don't go on our screens.
Right.
Now, I know many of you are probably thinking that's a little bit too scary, but the benefits can be absolutely profound. One recent UK study suggested that we look at our phone 221 times a day.
That's a lot.
Even more alarming is a recent study from America which says that we actually touch our phones over 2,000 times a day. It's absolutely remarkable, but why does this matter? The reason it matters is because it stops us from having any off time. We're constantly go, go, go. From the minute we wake up and we check Twitter, WhatsApp, Facebook, our lives are go, go, go these days with work, the commute, emails, to-do lists, and this constant stream of information, or what I call information overload, continues until late into the evening, often whilst we're still in bed. And this is a big problem because stress
Man, I don't even take my
raises
phone to
levels of
bed.
something called
You stay up
cortisol
awake
in our
all
bodies.
night.
Cortisol is our body's principal stress response hormone. If we have raised levels of our stress response hormones, it affects our brain, our performance, our function. We get tired at work. It's not only work, it then impacts our home lives and our personal relationships in the evening. We have to use technology in a way that it helps us rather than controls us. A simple tip that I use
Help
both
rather than
myself and
control.
with my patients is to think about, can we have 1 hour in the morning where we don't look at our phones? It could be quite remarkable. Or at least have your phone in airplane mode, because then you can go on an app, listen to some music, or do something like a meditation app without getting that constant stream of noise. Another simple tip to reduce how much you use your smartphone, but more importantly, how your smartphone might be adversely affecting you, is to switch off notifications on your phone. This can be life-changing. Do you need to see every time someone likes that last Instagram comment?
No.
Do you need to know every time a new email pings in your inbox?
No.
Simply taking off those notifications puts you in control, because then you can choose when you go on Instagram, when
Right.
you go on Facebook, and when you
Yep.
choose to
how I am.
utilize social media. You can choose to access your emails, but you're not constantly bombarded by somebody else's agenda, because when somebody else likes your Instagram post, that could be 24 hours a day, it could be any time, and that's going to then impact you.
24
You
hours a
divert
day we're
attention
on
from
now,
what you're
people.
doing,
We went from
and you go
0
and look at that post.
to 24/7.
Look, I'm not criticizing. I am as guilty as anyone, but I do not have notifications on my phone anymore. And I tell you what, I would not go back.
That's nice. He's good. This is Tech Insider. He says phone-free time, it's bad. Like, it's affecting our brain, the way we think. We've seen these. It is something that, it's like, you got to take everything with a grain of salt. Yes, phones are useful, but you should probably regulate your time, your children's time on them. That's where we're getting to. You know what I mean? And it's there. But there's also a dark side of it. So we're looking at the dark side of using smartphones. And this is Sepalika, Women's Health Hormonal Health Clinic. It's a brave new world. Technology is changing our lives at a pace that is crazy. We're surrounded by cell phones, tablets, smartwatches, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and every other conceivable convenience. Our poor bodies that have been unchanged for at least 10,000 years of recorded history have had no chance to keep pace with the technology. Result, it's taking a toll on our health. Let's look at how one device that we use the most, the cell phone, can affect our health. Globally, there are an estimated 5 billion cell phone subscribers. Never has any object or phenomenon made such an intrusion into humankind as a cell phone has. The number of calls, WhatsApp messages each of us makes or exchanges in a day is of staggering order. Even when you put your cell phone on silent mode at night, the phone still continues to emit signals, staying in touch with the nearest cell phone tower. Wow. Harmful effects of cell phones. Radiation and damages to our organs and cells. Says cell phones emit radio frequency energy, a form of non-ionizing radiation from their antennas. Tissues in our body nearest the antenna can absorb this energy. These signals interfere with electromagnetic fields in our body, disturbing our body cells, tissues, and organs. Research shows that the human body responds by building defenses against this radiation. Cell membranes thicken, which would lead to nutrients from the bloodstream not being able to get in. Damage to protein sensors on the cell walls can cause DNA malfunctions. Increased risk of tumor and mental health issues. According to a study published by the prestigious Journal of American Medicine, JAMA, 50 minutes of cell phone radiation visibly increases metabolic activity in the brain, and it's not clear what the result of that will be. Wow. It says Dr. Magda Havas, PhD, and world-renowned authority on the subject, says, I quote, increased risk of tumors, reduced sperm count, and possible behavior problems experienced by children born to mothers who use cell phones during pregnancy is most disturbing and should be viewed as an early warning indicator of things to come. Little wonder then we see ourselves more stressed, more edgy, and less relaxed from use of cell phones. Damage to our spine and musculature? Never seen that word before. Texting or messaging is another feature of our lives. Researching shows that just a 15-degree tilt of the head when we text is equivalent to putting a 27-pound load on the neck. As we continue to do this every day, day after day, we create a terrible and sometimes irreversible curvature of the spine. Weight gain. We use smartphones. Promotes a sedentary lifestyle. You know, you sit on the couch, you're on the phone, you just watch it, you keep watching it, which in turn likely leads to obesity and chronic illness. It disrupts your sleeping pattern. The blue light emitted from electronic devices disrupts our production of melatonin hormones. These hormones are the ones responsible for promoting sleep. Decreases memory. Smartphones make us rely solely on technology to remember things for us. We stop bothering to remember things by ourselves. Forget stuff all the time. You know what I'm saying? I don't, but mine be because I'm high. Demote social interactions. Smartphones steal away your attention from people around you as well as your surroundings. It diminishes your cognitive ability in connecting and socializing with other people. So people are getting dumber. Adversely affects eyesight. In 2014 study carried out by the independent opticians found that a particular wavelength of light emitted by a cell phone tablet screen is potentially hazardous and toxic to the back of your eye. Overusing the muscles of the eye when focused on the screen results in headaches, while the intense focus we give to small objects such as smartphones playing YouTube videos may mean we blink less, resulting in dry eye. Wow. So, let's see how they affect your brain's ability to focus. This is Wall Street Journal. You know them.
Attention, much like your daily allowance of money, is a limited resource, and in any particular moment, you can only have that much of it.
We live in an age of constant distractions. 9 to 5 is out, 24/7 is in.
24/7, like I was saying.
With my smartphone in hand, I bring my work with me everywhere.
All
but our
the
devices
time.
make us less attentive. Having spent 10 years doing research in neurobiology, I wondered what technology does to our brains. I set out to understand the science of distractions and learn how to be more focused and boost our productivity. By some measures, we're bombarded by more than 63 notifications a day. We receive over 90 emails and write about 40 of them. On average, we switch tasks every 3 minutes. When we face distractions, two areas of the brain, the parietal cortex and the frontal cortex, are in a sort of tug-of-war with each other. Some research suggests that the parietal cortex responds to distractions. The frontal cortex, which is involved in cognitively demanding tasks, helps us maintain focus. So we get distracted if the activity of the parietal cortex gets through to the frontal cortex. If the frontal cortex can keep the parietal in check, you stay focused. The brain is deciding what's important and what's not, and that takes effort.
Even when you're cleaning your mailbox and you're not actually doing hard cognitive work, you kind of actually are, because there's all these essentially micro decisions. Looking at this email, do I need this?
Oh,
And
Elon
so
saying smoke.
each of those decisions requires a little bit more of cognitive effort.
Elon.
And so, but when you add 2,000 of those, you end up with no power to make any other important decisions. After that, you feel depleted.
Tell me a little bit about the study that you did focused on email.
What we found was that checking email more frequently throughout the day was associated with feeling more stressed and overwhelmed.
In the study, one group of people were asked to check their email whenever they wanted throughout the day, while the other group had to do it in batches.
We found that people who batched their emails 3 to 5 times a day felt less stressed and less overwhelmed.
Why are these tasks that seem
that's
really
crazy.
menial, why are they so stressful and
Because everything's stressful nowadays.
You're
You know that
basically
lady
doing
talking about
something that other people need. Let's
Right.
imagine that attention is this calm lake or, the reflecting pool. And then each notification is a little drop in that lake. We can think of the reflectiveness as, the ability to actually focus on what's going on around us. But when we have all these drops all the time, now you get a reflecting pool disturbed and frazzled.
If email is like rain, notifications seem like a storm to our productivity and our ability to focus. The higher the cognitive load, the more susceptible we are to new distractions. Notifications on our phones draw our attention away from the task at hand, so completing it may ultimately require more effort.
Every time you get distracted by a notification, you have to switch your attention and switch it back. The switching in and of itself actually requires cognitive effort, and so you end up more depleted.
She looked
at the end of
annoyed
the
right
day.
then from
So
checking her
what
phone.
can we do as cell phone users to mitigate that?
Some things that I do is I do have scheduled do not disturb times, which you can set on your phone when, basically no notifications come in. In general, I do keep my phone on silent. I actually am, like most people, a little addicted to my email and a little addicted to social media and messages. So I do actually open those apps
I like this guy, honest. Wall Street Journal.
I don't need to be reminded that I need to open it every minute.
So to tame new technologies, we may first need to reconsider how and when we rely on them.
We did a study, not in an organization, but on campus, where we asked students to find a building, either with their phones or without the help of their phones. And yes, the students who relied on their phones got to the building faster, but these same students actually felt less connected to their community. And so it's not a question of, should we just do away with these devices, but what is the price of this convenient device?
What is
These
it? What are we losing? What are we gaining?
That hold society together,
Right.
I think are getting more and more chipped away from us.
Connection.
Our devices and apps aren't the only way to crush it at the office. Casual conversations at work could make us feel more connected, happier, and productive.
Gotta talk
That's
to
what
people,
science is
people.
telling us.
Gotta be people. We gotta be people. We gotta talk to people. We gotta be people. You know what I'm saying? Look at these sources, baby. This Wall Street Journal. You know what they're doing. You know what Wall Street Journal's doing. They're the best. Now, we are talking about cell phones. We're talking about the threats. We're talking about. So, now I'm going to go over here to these list of advantages. Now let's talk about the ugly. Okay, Elon, I got you. Elon was saying smoke. So let's talk about the ugly. Let's talk about how we get here. Carrying a cell phone offers you another layer of personal safety. So, you can be tracked. The police can track you, the government can track you. And even sometimes other people, if smart enough, can track you. Or with an app. Your cell phone company usually can tell you where you are as well. Cell phones provide access to the internet. This is seen as an advantage, but it can also be a disadvantage. We're talking about hackers. We're talking about scamming. We're talking about people stealing your information, people buying accounts, people running up bills in your name. I have even recently had a charge on my Cash App. I had no money in there at the time. It was a $998 charge. How someone got my information to send themselves or request it, I don't even know how that's possible. I didn't write the program. I didn't write the code, so I don't know. Portability of the modern cell phone is undeniable, yes. But with something being so small, it is also easily stolen. Now, you can't track something when it's off. GPSs, I install those in many of fleet vehicles at my job. And when doing so, if you relieve the power from the battery or you figure out where the GPS is and cut it out, no bueno. You can't track something when it's dead. It'll tell you the last position it was at. Somebody smart enough to turn off your phone. It could be gone, sold, flashed, all before you get it back. Many of people in high school got their cell phones stolen all the time, especially when iPhones were new. They used to steal that. They were stealing iPhones. Now we got the costs. Not only do you, okay, so you go, you buy a, let's see, you buy a $1,000 iPhone, right? $1,000 iPhone. You're walking out the store. You trip over a rock. Let's just say you trip over a rock, and you smash your phone. Okay, phone smash. Phone smash. Wow. So now, are you gonna turn back around and go buy another cell phone? Or are you gonna pay to get it fixed? Okay, so yeah, you pay to get it fixed. You were dumb enough to not get the insurance, so you pay to get it fixed, and it cost. Let's see, let's say $1,000 phone. Say it costs $300, $400 to fix. Okay, boom, cost you $300, $400 to fix. Boom, you got a new phone. You go home. 3 weeks go by. You got a 3-year-old. And your 3-year-old thinks it's funny to throw your newly fixed iPhone into the tub while you're taking a bath. That's the dark side. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but how many people have broken their iPhones? I've broken a screen on just about every. I got where? Let me see. I got a broken phone sitting around here somewhere. Let me see. I want to show you guys a smashed screen or something. Look. Here we go. I'll show you a smashed screen. Let me see if I can get some power on it or something. Look. Smashed screen. Like, look, you can see that. Smashed screen. That phone, couple $100. How many of these do I have? 3. Yes, I turned around and bought the phone again because I liked it. That's why. Now, it teaches children to be responsible, or it teaches children to be stuck-up brats who are bougie. Why are we giving kids $1,000 cell phones to go to high school? You should get that cell phone after you get out of high school. Do something first. I need the newest iPhone, Mom. Why? You're supposed to be sitting in school learning. What you need an iPhone, so when I come home, I can use my iPhone. So you want to come home and use your iPhone to do what? To get on social media. Use a computer. Oh my gosh. They become a powerful learning tool. True. In one regard, they have become a powerful learning tool. In the other regard, you can learn bad things. My sister got her car stolen because they looked up on YouTube how to start a Kia Forte with a flathead screwdriver in Columbus, Ohio. That's where my sister lived at, in that state, Ohio. Ohio's where I'm from. Yes, with a screwdriver. So it's a powerful learning tool, and it can be a powerful learning tool for evil. If you don't know how to make a bomb, you can look it up. I mean, you can just create terrorists. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not, real life. Like real life. There's good and bad to this. Just big. It's crazy. Serves as a necessary communications tool. So now, you got people in another country. Let's just go on the terrorist route. We got people in another country. Anti-American rhetoric, anti-American fervor, written all in words. They can send it right to your phone now. People who have dissented or came over here for a better life, they can just send it right to their phone now. It's on the internet. It's like, it's in your face. It's a communications tool, but the media runs everything right now. You believe the media. There's no truth in it. There's no wrong or right in the media. They're doing what they do. They're getting your attention. They're making you. Who does anybody ever tell the truth? Please tell me one person who's always told the truth besides Jesus. I'll wait. You ain't gonna tell me one, cause everybody lies. So don't believe in everything you see. Cell phones store videos and convenience. Okay, they can also store videos and photos of bad things. Let's see, we have fight comps all the time. People getting hit with shovels. I mean, these are real life videos. These aren't Netflix shows that are created and reenacted. This is really happening. They offer use for entertainment options. There's also the bad kind of entertainment. You can share video in real time. So now I have a 5-year-old on TikTok watching some guy that's live who's 50 years old doing something he's not supposed to be doing. But now I have a 5-year-old who can access that. A 5-year-old who can see this, who can do this. You just got to regulate the usage. That's all. I'm not saying it's good or bad. But kids have access to things they shouldn't have access to. And they could be looking at it for 3 months before you notice. They could be talking to these people. Then next thing you know, in their inbox, then video chatting. Then you wonder why your kids go running off with somebody when they turn 17. It's like, it's big. It's really big. Now we'll dive back into these. The vehicular accidents we know about. Student cheating. They're saying high-tech cheating. There's this thing called Wolfram Alpha. It'll solve any problem. I'm talking about physics. It will solve any problem. When I was in, man, Wolfram Alpha. That's all I'm going to say. Like, it's like, and then you got their cell phones in school, and they're cheating on their phone when they could have just studied at home. Like, that's like I said. And then look, you remember when I was talking about breaking my phone? It's like, you break an iPhone, it costs money to fix. I mean, have anybody recycled any of these things? This is the ugly here. This is what we're talking about. Says many cell phone owners trade in their device for a new one every 12 to 24 months. While old phones often discarded instead of being recycled, added e-waste comes into our processing systems around the world. Many of the elements of modern phones are toxic, with a significant exposure, with lead being one of the greatest dangers. So if you're just tossing your electronics out and not recycling them, eventually, we don't see the effects of this right now, but eventually, not unrecycled, not properly recycled e-waste is going to contaminate the ground, contaminate something, and cause an issue eventually. Now, let's talk about the exploding phone fiasco. We know how that goes. A Galaxy Note blew up. There's a couple other phones that have blown up. Be it battery issues. It doesn't happen all the time, but anything that has a battery could potentially explode. We know that. It says there's also an issue of the lithium-ion batteries to consider. The Samsung Galaxy Note 7 is the most recent example of this issue with cell phones. After 2 recalls of the phone and $5 billion in costs, an irregularly sized battery caused overheating. Combined with manufacturing issues with the device, even the replacement batteries became problematic for the manufacturer. From missing insulation tape to sharp edges protruding from the battery, the phone would eventually be banned on airplanes. A phone blew up so it got banned. That's crazy. Cell phones create distractions points for children and adults. Because smartphones are treated more as entertainment devices than communication or learning tools, they tend to distract people. You'll see this in almost every day in each community as people look at their phones instead of watching where they walk or drive. You ever been driving and you see that person just walking across the street and they never look up? That's scary. That's scary. The statistics on cell phone addiction can be quite terrifying. The average person will check their phone 110 times during the day. 40% of people use their smartphones while going to the bathroom. 61% leave their phones turned on next to their bed or even under a pillow. 75% of cell phone users admit to texting at least once while driving. I've done it. I'm not saying it's right. I done it. I done it. Most importantly, half of all cell phone users say they feel uneasy when they leave home without their phone. What they call it? No nomophobia. 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 The fear of being without your phone. It increases the risk of cyberbullying. Before the use of cell phones, students could come home and cope with bullying behaviors. Thanks to cell phones and the potential for communication access, cyberbullying can happen at all hours of the day. It even occurs on forums where the targeted individual may not know it's happening. 80% of teens use a cell phone regularly, which makes the device most common tool for cyberbullying. 90% of teens who see cyberbullying on social media ignore the behavior. Only 10% of students will tell their parents if they experience this issue. Wow. Wow. We're talking about cell phones. And we know that addictive behavior, was that a compulsion loop? We learned that a little bit earlier. Cell phones can become addictive to people of all ages. The average American adult spends almost 3 hours on their smartphone every day. People spend 36% more time on their cell phones than they do eating or drinking. This is a cell phone addiction test developed by the Center for the Internet and Technology Addiction that communicates to you if this disadvantage might be an issue for you. There are 15 questions in total, with a yes answer to 5 of them indicating the possibility of addiction. Created by Dr. David Greenfield, you must score a 1 to 2 to have your behavior classified as normal. With a score to 3 or 4, the test says your behavior is leaning toward problematic or compulsive use. Anything 8 or above offers a recommendation to see a specialist about behavioral addictions. It's like crack cocaine. You on that Facebook. Ooh, I need another hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are really some keyboard bangers out here and women who just look for the drama on Facebook just to comment and wait for the next comment and comment back. And we know. We talked about the sex exploitation. So, let's look about how the dark side. We've talked about a lot of this stuff. There's a dark side too. We got the dark web. We've got child pornography. We've got all of this is now accessible to everyone because it's right there on the internet. You can be anybody in contact. Your kid can stumble across something. We try our best to put filters on and safe search, but there's always a way to get to something. There's always somebody showing something, or just a reel. It might be a reel of something that was recorded. Content may just be a little outside the lines. Then there's cyberbullying. There's access to weapons, guns illegally. There's so much. But there's a real dark side. Where your phone is your life. It affects you in every way. People coming, people going don't matter. You don't notice anything. You don't eat. You live in your phone. We don't live to live in a phone. But that's the real dark side of it. You don't see the addictive behavior. You don't see it building up or coming. So, here's part of the dark side. It's the BBC. They want you doing it all for the likes. That's the BBC. Doing it for the likes. And that brings me to this. Mental health is a real thing in this country. It is not a joke. It is not a game. If something's happening in your life, if you can't handle it, talk to somebody. And I ain't nobody above talking to somebody. I have somebody to talk to. And I confide in. And I can tell my secrets. Find yourself one of those people, an objective person, someone that has nothing to do with you, so they can tell you how they feel. This is a mental health hotline. 866-903-3787. I know people are struggling with this, but get some help. Also, the National Hotline for Mental Health Crises and Suicide Prevention. NAMI believes that public policies and practices promote access to care for people with mental health conditions. NAMI supports a nationwide toll-free hotline that can adequately respond to people experiencing mental health crisis. If you feel like the internet's getting to you, if you feel like you're stressed, if you feel like you can't do it, people are bothering you, sometimes you just got to connect from the phone. This can become a mental illness. This is real. It's going to be 800-273-TALK. This is the National Alliance on Mental Health Illness. People, we're doing this for you. Cell phones. The good, the bad, the ugly. This is what I'm saying. Sometimes you just got to disconnect. I think what we've gained here is cell phones are a great tool for everything. A great tool for learning, a great tool for communication, a great tool for pictures. Like, they're all encompassing. Phones are computers now. But sometimes all of that starts messing with your brain. It starts getting in your head. You got to get a day or two where you're phone free, screen free. You got to give yourself time back. Read a book. Get out your phone. Get out your screen. We're here to live. We're not here to live in our phones. You get what I'm saying? All right, people. That's enough for me. Check. I always do this, man. Check the credits. Just check the credits. You know who it is. Oh, we gang out, man. Check the credits. Just check the credits. Oh, man. I'm always like, check the credits. And then I said, check the credits.